You are your beliefs. Do you believe you are worth premium pricing? If you believe it, that's half the battle, but then you have to back it up. Because here's the bottom line. If you want to charge premium prices, be premium in all you do. How you position yourself to charge premium prices. Because it's going to take some strategic marketing to help your prospective patient understand or wrap their minds around why they emotionally and logically want to spend more for your services versus the other lower price competitors. So this presentation is going to give you a lot of strategies to do just that. So let's talk about branding, because branding really is important in this case. So branding tells your prospective patients what to expect from you in terms of quality, service, results, and price. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to make all of that very clear, why you're charging more and why they will happily pay those higher prices. So if you think about it, in today's world with all this technology, you can be seen as a celebrity because the patients are on so many different screens. Hardly anybody's still sitting in front of a TV anymore. They're in front of an iPhone or an iPad or a laptop or a computer. So you can actually make yourself look pretty darn important if you embrace video, of course. Now, you are also your website. In today's world, you will look so old school if you don't upgrade your website at least every 3 years. There's a big difference when somebody looks at the dated website here and says, oh my gosh, how old is this guy? Because that's what they think. Like, you must be very old if you still have that old style website. And then when you have a really updated website, it just looks better. You look up to date, you look fresh and innovative. So your website really is an investment for you. It's well worth it, especially if you're trying to get patients from the internet. It's not easy anymore. You want to pay for really killer internet marketers who know how to get you ranked. So that's a whole other world, but please look updated when people go to your website and they don't go, what the heck is that? Then also your logos. A lot of you have your multi-page CV on your website, and that is terrific. It's great for certain patients who like to know all of those details. But in today's world, I would abbreviate it. I would have both, actually. I'd still have your multi-page CV, but I would also collect all of the logos you have from all sorts of places, the universities you attended, the hospitals you worked at, the membership societies you belong to, any PR you've gotten, any radio stations or TV stations that have interviewed you, anything you have that has a logo, get those on your website and in your marketing materials. It'll look good. And then also your results. Too many practices don't spend enough time documenting their results, because what's the patient looking for? A result. And if you can get really good at certain procedures and show much better results than others show, that's even better. So if you do lipo, terrific. But if you do 360 lipo and you're killer at it, you want to make a big deal out of it, because that's how the patient can wrap their minds around, and make sense of spending more for you, because they're going to get a different result than they would have gotten from just the average guy. And also, you want to take a look at the ethnicities and the demographics of your patient base. Make sure you have photos in there that everyone can find themselves in. Yeah, so be very universal with the results and show a lot of them. Now, instead of showing artwork in your practice, I would show artwork from patients, and I call it actual patient stories and wall art. So you can show their before and after photos, but you can also do a photo shoot of a patient who's in real life enjoying her new look. So it's a different way to do art in your office. It's letting the patients tell their story for you, and it looks really good.
The smartest practices know a big part of their practice growth comes from retention, referrals, and repeat treatments, not just from new internet stranger leads. That's why I created the KISS Loyalty Club, a done-for-you system that keeps your patients returning, referring, reviewing, sharing you on social media, and completing surgery. Discover how KISS can grow your own practice revenues by visiting kissloyalty.com today.
Also, your reviews, like them or not, they're everything. Patients really look at reviews, just like, well, I think Amazon trained us all to do that as well. But reviews are everything. So I would get a whole bunch of them. I have a video on how you get them. But here's the thing, I don't trust, and I assume I'm not very different than everyone else. I don't trust when you have hundreds of reviews and they're all for 5.0. That looks so inauthentic and fishy. I would be much happier if you had a 4.8 or a 4.9. And then maybe the biggest complaint was you left them waiting too long because you're so busy. So make some time and put in some effort for reviews because they really are everything. And then you're also your content. In today's world, these patients want to know more about you than you're just this one-dimensional physician. So honestly, get comfortable in front of the camera and do interviews. Like have somebody interview you because you're probably more comfortable being asked questions than ad-libbing. Do anything you can to explain your procedures. If you actually speak at the medical conferences, make sure they see you on the podium. So content is king in today's world. It always has been, but it's just changing. And I'm just saying, make sure anytime there's a camera in front of you, make sure you document that and your patients see it. And then you're also your PR. Now, some of you happen to live in, let's say, Beverly Hills or New York, and PR is much easier to get, but that's not even true because it's so competitive, it's probably not that easy to get. Most of the surgeons who have really good PR have paid a fortune for that and put a lot of time into nurturing those relationships. If you don't want to do that, you can hire a PR agency. Here's the thing that everyone needs. It's the Rolodex. You need to be able to pick up the phone and call a reporter or an editor or a manager of the TV station and pitch them stories. So if you don't do that, you can have a PR agency do it for you. However, it's not easy to get PR in today's world because so plastic surgery and cosmetic rejuvenation has been around now and it's really mainstream. So what do they want to do? They usually want to show the horror stories. And I don't think you want to be involved in that. So frankly, in today's world, I would probably do my own PR because you have a camera and you have a YouTube station and you can do all you want with that yourself and you can control the content. But if you do hire a PR agency, don't agree to a year. Only do it month to month. And if they can help you, great. If they can't, bow out. Okay. You're also your social media. It is no longer a nice thing to do because of what's going on with Google and rankings and algorithms. You can't count on Google like before. So I highly recommend getting good at social media. If you're not good at it, at least get somebody on staff who really understands it and can be like the producer and the director and make you look good. Yeah. And then you're also your personality. What's the one thing you have that nobody else has? Your personality. So use it. I mean, you're really actually very interesting. So you can, of course, show them your credentials and your associations and your PR, but also your pro bono work. A lot of you do really cool stuff outside of the office, and patients should know about that. And also, I would share, your family, your travels, your hobbies, your dog. I just love dogs. Just people want to know you as a fully multidimensional person. And you are your story. Everyone's got an interesting story. I love hearing stories about where were you born? How did you become a physician? Why did you become a physician? Did something happen when you were a little kid? Were you groomed to be a physician? And there's so many great things. Like some of you are marathon runners. Or I was working with a plastic surgeon who wanted to do tummy tucks. And then he mentioned his wife had triplets. That's a pretty good story. And then, of course, the puppies. Love the puppies. Now, here was an emotional story that a plastic surgeon was using. And it started out, I'm the oldest child of a large family of 10 children. And that caught my eye right away because I'm from a family of 7 children. And I thought that was chaotic. 10 must have been unbelievable. And then he goes on and on about how his father was a physician and well-respected. And he was the oldest of 10. So he got a great work ethic and he, was ultra achieving kind of guy. But anyway, it's a good story. And the thing is people will remember your story probably more than they'll even remember your name. I highly recommend doing an introductory video. I would get a local videographer. There are a bunch of unemployed wedding videographers out there, or just they're not busy, throughout the year. Get one of them, but get somebody who's really good at video editing, and they can make you look like a rock star. So they can do a full day of filming you and the life of what you do, and they can piece it together and make you look really good. So I highly recommend that. Now, you can also collect social media in a paid way or free way. So maybe you have got yourself voted for best of your area, and that takes some work. You've got to get your patients to vote for you, and that's terrific. Please do that. But if you can't or won't do that, you could pay to play. Most magazines, like those top doc magazines or the best doctor magazines, usually you can pay your way in there. They might have a couple rules, but it's not awful. So I highly would recommend it. Now, here's why. We all want the best. We don't want to pay for it usually, but we want the best. And when we Google things, have you noticed we'll say, who's the best doctor for this? So that's why you want it. But you can't say you're the best because that's unethical. So you get your patients to say you're the best, or you get a magazine to say you're the best. So that's how you get the word best and your name together. Yeah, it's well worth it if you can do it. Now, you can also write your own book. I actually have my own book, and it has been a game changer for my career. It was a pain in the neck to write. It's not easy. And then I wrote this book for this surgeon, and we spent many weekends on this thing, and then I spent many evenings on it when he wasn't around. So it was a very big job. I'll never do it again. If I do, I'll do it for my own self. So what you can do in today's world is you can self-publish, you can get a ghostwriter, they can do all the writing for you. You can just give them some pictures and do some recordings with them and let them take it from there. It's actually not so much the book as it is saying that you wrote a book and that you are an author. It's a great thing to add to your CV, and it's a game changer. So it's well worth it, but just know it's going to take time and or money. You can also do your own podcast like I do. However, I'm going to say this isn't for the faint of heart. When you do a podcast, typically you need to do weekly. You can't do monthly because you'll never gain any traction with it. So they want it weekly, but that's a lot of content to pull out, in your spare time. So here's what I would recommend. On my podcast, it's called Beauty in the Biz. I do my own content because I love to talk about marketing and business strategies. However, most of the time I have on a guest, and it's typically somebody in the industry, or mainly it's surgeons, or physicians who are doing cosmetic rejuvenation, and they're the content. So you would do the same thing for you. You could have your patients on giving their story, and then they become the content. So think about it, but don't rush in. It's a lot of work to do that. And you are your office. Now, you do not need rolling hills and, chandeliers. However, if you're going to be premium, you better show off being premium, because if you think about the patient who wants the best and wants to pay for the best, that means they want quality, they want service, they want luxury, they want to feel special and better than everybody else. There's a lot of status involved in that. So make sure your office is congruent with your pricing. Super important. You can't look scraggly in your office and then charge a bunch for it. That just doesn't make any sense. And then you are also your staff. Please make sure the people who are representing you are high-end and premier, just like your prices. You need the right people on board who get it. Not everybody understands, customer service is the name of the game if we're going to charge premium prices. No one's going to pay extra to be treated rudely. So get the right staff on board, and then constant, never-ending improvement and talking about customer service. What happens is I'm often called in to rah-rah with the staff, but it's not a one-time thing. You want to meet with them regularly. I mean, weekly, bi-weekly, at least, to keep reminding them, team, we charge extra because we're better. We're better because we do everything better than the others do. And customer service is the name of the game. People will charge more or pay more to feel more special. I promise you that. So please make sure you're using customer service, education, and constant reinforcement about it with your team. And you are also your processes. When people pay extra, they often are doing that because you can save them time and you can give them a lot more convenience than others. So you really want to look at your patient journey and how easy are you to do business with. I personally love to pay extra to, let's say, a med spa who has my card on file, knows my name. I get the same provider. She knows what I want. We get in and out, no fanfare. I don't need a bunch of chit chat. I want to just get my result, get out. I will pay extra for that, and so will a lot of other prospective patients. On the other hand, some of them want different kinds of service. Your goal is to find out what they want to pay extra for and then give it to them if you can. And then your messaging. If you are premium, give everyone a heads up with a message like this. The bitterness of poor quality is remembered long after the sweetness of low price has faded from memory. And that was Gucci. And he's putting it in perspective. And if somebody sees signage like this in your office, in your reception area, on your website, they know they're not going to walk in and with their Groupon. So you're also your own consultation. Now, this one's a sticky one because premier pricing for that prospective patient, she wants service. And she probably wants your time. So you're not going to run in and out of there. She doesn't want to feel rushed, and she wants to be heard and understood and listened to. So you've got to set the time and the space for her to tell you what she wants. And a lot of times you're busy, you're running around, you've got a lot of people waiting for you, but you have to act like you are she or he is the only patient you have. And you are just completely focused on them and their needs and your recommendations. You don't have to spend a ton of time, but the time you spend must be very good quality time. And actually, I wouldn't spend a ton of time because then it looks like you don't have anything to do. So it can go both ways. But here's my caveat. Women especially want reassurance that they're going to get a great result, that they're not going to regret this. And here's an easy way for you to do that. When you're at the end of each consultation, all you say is, Sarah, you are an excellent candidate for this procedure, and I can't wait to see you again. That way, you're reassuring them and assuming, of course, they're going to choose you and pay extra for that. So here it is. You are your beliefs. Do you believe you are worth premium pricing? If you believe it, that's half the battle, but then you have to back it up. Because here's the bottom line. If you want to charge premium prices, be premium in all you do. Now, here's how you test that. If you are charging premium pricing and you're losing a ton of consultations, that should tell you something. So I would back up. I would go through these slides again and figure out where are you missing the ball on that, because there's some kind of incongruency between what your prices are and what their experience is or they feel it's going to be. And that is how you charge premium pricing.
The fastest way to success is to model other successful surgeons who have what you want, but you can only see their results, not the path they took to get there. So you continue to jump from one thing to another, hoping to find something that will work for you too. But it rarely does. So try this shortcut instead. It's guaranteed to move you forward. I compiled my intellectual property to grow cosmetic revenues, everything I've gleaned over the years, into one playbook of the most successful practices and what they do to win. Go to cosmeticpracticevault.com and let's grow your cosmetic revenues.